Okay, so in this extra video, I just want to cover oligopoly and the king demand curve as an Excel illustration. So if you want to solve this in Excel, then it's also quite obvious that you'll also want to illustrate it in Excel. So to do that, I've just put in the numbers here from the exercise, from the oligopoly exercise. I've put it in here, the exercise, right? So here you can see the values. Up here I've substituted in the formulas that is in the cells. So it's actually all about deriving the Q values, the relevant Q values. So if you look at earlier exams, there's like a good way of going forward. So always include 0. The next number you want to include is where the kink is. So here you can see the kink is at 12,000 boxes. And that's why I include 12,000. But because we want to show the drop in MR, also called the MR gap value, we'll have to have two 12,000 here, because then we can show what is the MR in the first interval, what is the MR in the second interval, and this we can use to show the drop. The last Q value is like to limit the horizontal axis to what maximum value could be of interest. And that would always be the second interval's piece, the piece second interval's intersection with the horizontal axis. In this instance it's 210 divided by 0.0075. This is 28,000. So 210 divided by 0.0075 is the intersection with the horizontal axis. When you then put in the formulas, remember that in the first two here, the first P applies. And in the second two, the function shifts to the lower interval. And that's how you do it. So P has a kink, and that means it doesn't have a drop, so it gets the same value. Whereas doing it for MR, here's the MR values that we calculated in the exercise, you can see that at the same Q level, we got the drop, we got the gap value from 60 down to 30. Of course, we also want to have the MC with us here. So the MC is a linear function starting in 40. If we differentiate this, the 2 comes down, becomes differentiated 0.004, 0.004 Q. Okay, so let's start by deriving or depicting the revenue function. So start by marking this one, and press Insert, Diagram, and choose then this one. Okay, this one we're going to choose because it's good. It's a good option when you have a drop. It shows the drop very well. So choose this one. So I'm just going to make it a little bigger so we can clearly see what's happening here. And I'm calling this oligopoly. You can also call it the kink demand curve if you want that. And let's add some axis titles and remove these lines here. So on the horizontal axis we have Q, on the vertical axis we have P or kroner or whatever. So when you see this, you're like, okay, maybe we'll need to format this vertical axis, right? Because it doesn't make sense to go all the way down to 28,000. Maybe it's okay to stop a little earlier. Good. So if you want to do that, just click on the column, right click and format axis like that. There you can see the minimum and the maximum. It goes to a maximum of 200 right now and a minimum of 250. Let's just say we want to say minimum of, let's just say 100, right? Instead, minus 100. So changing this to minus 100 will definitely change the appearance to this one, right? So maybe you'll think, oh, nah, I want only to minus 50. Then you go in again. then you just change it to -50, like that. And if you're satisfied with that result, you say, okay, that's cool. Let me just leave that there. Then we gotta add the MC also, because we have to add the marginal cost. Go in here, choose this one. There you can see the series. Here, that series, that series, that series. And you choose data. And you have this add new series. This new series we'll call marginal cost. And the X values is of course the Q. And we'll delete that. And the Y values are the MC values, like that. And I press OK. Okay, so now comes our MC into the picture. Nice here. See it starts at 40, going up with a slope of 0.004. Then we can add, if we want to, some figures just to show our solution. Maybe make it a little bigger here, just to get a nice, precise solution here. Like that. Of course, it's not that precise here. Just move it to there. That's good enough, isn't it? So, and I'll insert like another one here to the price out there. So we get a nice view of the solution of 10,000 here. So that is our solution, the Q here, and the solution out there. We can just insert like a text field saying Q star is equal to 10,000. And maybe that's a little too big. So we'll reduce it a little. Maybe that's fine there. And I'll make it formatted and change the lines so it has no lines. Move it down there. Like that. And we have the p-value of 130 from our solution, like that, and want to have that up there instead. Like that, and we zoom out again. Okay, so that looks okay. So now we have the optimization with the marginal method and the king demand curve with the oligopoly and with the data up here. So this was just like an instruction video of how to like play with Excel and graphs when the graph is a little more difficult. You can also do the calculations in Excel, of course. You can just take the formulas from the board that I wrote up and write them into Excel and make a nice like template for yourself so you're ready to do it at the exam also. But don't use that much time on these small finesses unless you like have time at the exam, because otherwise you risk using time on something that's like fine, but you risk losing time on what's nice to have and what's not need to have. First need is that you finish the job, you get all the exercises done, all the problems solved. Then you go to nice phase where you like better your graphs and put in extra things and so on and so forth. But this was just a little quick video of the oligopoly graph illustration in Excel.